Good Friday morning, East Tennessee. My name is David Aldridge, Chief Meteorologist of Captain Accurate Weather, coming to you by way of the Captain Accurate Weather Command Center. From a show of hands or comments on YouTube and Facebook. We're on both today. I've been doing that as a regular thing. How many of you got an alert this morning from the Captain Accurate Weather app? If you did, well, then I know that you're using the app properly. But I will tell you this, because some people don't always have their location services on. They don't get the notifications. Why bother with the app if you're not going to get the notifications? But I can tell you, we have heat advisories for some of you, and for others of you, not so much. Doesn't mean it's not going to be hot in the counties that are not shaded orange. And you love orange in East Tennessee because we love our Vols, and we're just days away from the first football game. But this is not the kind of orange you want to see if you're sensitive to heat. Because if your eyes, like mine, are drawn to the numbers in the upper right, that's the description from the National Weather Service. So if you were to click on the heat advisory text in the app, from the National Weather Service Morristown, you'd see that Knoxville could find temperatures around 105, probably closer to 108 as you get toward Athens and down toward the Southern Valley. So if you thought that today was going to be a piece of cake, oh, I don't need my air conditioner, well, you might want to rethink that today. Because today is going to be a real test of your patience. You want to check your signs for your own health. Heat stroke, heat advisories are in effect. So heat stroke and heat exhaustion may actually take effect at some point this morning and into the afternoon. So just want to be, it could feel like 100 by lunchtime today. That's how hot it's going to be. So that is the big story. From noon to 8 is when this officially begins and ends. So noon to 8, you have 8 hours of the heat advisory. Doesn't mean you can't do things. I get questions all the time, sometimes in my years of doing this, where I took a call one time. Someone said, I can't leave my house because we're under a heat advisory. I said, it just means it's hot. I mean, if you're from Texas and you're used to the heat, you're from Florida, you can handle 97 because that's where we're headed today. May feel like 105 to 108 in parts of those orange shaded counties. But I come back on camera because I want to show you the ultimate Doppler radar, show you the maps, I should say, presented by InstaDry. We are dry across the area, but they have some nasty storms rolling through West Virginia at this hour. And the heat advisories get upgraded in purple or fuchsia to the west, like Memphis has the excessive heat warnings where it will feel more like it's closer to 110. So everything's relative. Little Rock, Memphis, this is Shelby County here, as you can see here, but you can see Memphis about 10 o'clock Central Time is when this will last for them, and they've been under this coloring for quite some time. We have some fog issues. Oh yes, fog down to 0 in Jacksboro, Oneida down to a mile in Crossville, Cumberland County this morning. 1 mile visibility in Oak Ridge. So you're going to find patches of like dense fog and then nothing at all perhaps. Athens down to 0. So again, what I'm seeing, at least what my weather computer is ingesting, are these numbers. You might have a different report and love to have you share them with me. If you're on Facebook, we'll start with Facebook. Oh, I see. Good morning, Fred. It's a humid morning, he says. Wanda Post says, everyone stay safe. My sister's going to Florida today. How's the tropics? Florida needs to watch out for something tropical next week. We're going to get into that more in the next few minutes, but I'll go from between now and 7 o'clock. Hope to be done on time here on a Friday, a feel-good Friday, if you like the heat. Marilyn Bell's on YouTube. Hey, Marilyn, get up, it's Friday. Yay. She says a great weekend ahead, I hope. Felicia's Crafty Adventures, she says she got her alert. So she has all the information she needs, and we got 5 people now on YouTube. So we're continuing to expand the reach. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel, because this way I can get you more notifications if you're not getting them on other sources, like my app or maybe on Facebook. But 74 is our current temperature. So we have fog, we have heat advisories, and we have 74 degrees. It's a little cooler by the tune of 5 degrees in Johnson City at 69. But boy, I tell you what, when Memphis starts the day at 83 at 5:44 Central Time, that's a pretty rough start in Shelby County. No wonder they're under the excessive heat warning, which again is a little higher threshold to reach by the Weather Service standards. As far as the temperatures right now, Rockwood not reporting, but they're around 75. Jonesville not reporting, around 70. These are the current readings. 68 Jamestown, 73 right now in Madisonville, 72 in Sevierville. It's a humid start, and it's going to stay that way for the balance of the day. Our feels like temperatures aren't going to make any headlines this early in the morning, but by the time we hit midday, that 75 feels like will be closer to 100, so please, again, pace yourself. Get out early if you have to do errands. I'm thinking of those who are sensitive. The very old and the very young are more susceptible to this heat, and of course, watch out for your pets. If you have pets that spend a lot of time outside more than inside, make sure they have plenty of water as well. But the dew points are the culprit. When you have dew points in excess of 70, it can feel very hot very quickly. It's all about perception, but some of us are in the 60s, like a plateau for dew points. Many of us in the valley, like Oak Ridge, Knoxville, Maryville, are starting off in the lower to mid 70s. So that's the brutality, as it were, as far as the dew points and the sticky air. Now, I want to show you the future feels like. Let's go to about midday today. Let's stop those. Stop those. Noontime. Ding, 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 ding. I see triple-digit feels like temperatures by as early as noon. Not everywhere, but you can see Morristown 96. 99 Oak Ridge, but you said it could get to 105, 108. I don't see 105. Give it a few hours. There. What time is it? 2 o'clock? 3 o'clock. You go, okay, I've had enough. 105. Right there in the heart of the valley. Possibly a little higher, down toward Chattanooga and Athens. But I tell you what, if you thought yesterday was hot, yesterday's high, by the way, was only 92. We've had now a string of 92s, I believe 3 days in a row, as I come back on camera. 3 days in a row of 92. This will be day number 5. This heat wave started on Monday. But we really couldn't declare it as a heat wave after one 90-degree day. You like to get at least 3. 3 or more constitutes a heat wave in this part of the country, and it's interesting to see. If you got a note, Michael Hawk says it's going to be hot, hot, hot. I think Buster Poindexter said that very well, as you did, Michael. Thank you for being on YouTube. I'll go back to Facebook real quick. I see Janet Potts. Very heavy fog in Talbot. Good to know. Talbot, heads up, you got some fog. Be careful this morning, she says, and have a nice weekend. Thank you, Janet. And I haven't mentioned Darcy. She says, another hot, muggy, heavy fog day. Happy Friday. And for those of you that like the fogs in August, they typically are relieved or rumored to be a culprit to maybe an interesting winter. Maybe that's another feather in your cap if you're a snow fan when you get fogs in August this time of the month. So anyway, 105 as early as 2 or 3 o'clock this afternoon. Be prepared for those future feels like temperatures to be somewhat off the chart for this part of the country. Now, the humidity is going to be very high. No big surprise there. Every area in green represents dew points generally in the upper 60s, low 70s or higher, and it really kind of sticks with us. So we'll call it stuffy right through tonight, right through tomorrow, maybe some darker areas in Knoxville by Saturday afternoon with some thinner spots there in Atlanta. But again, this is all model driven, but it suggests it blankets the Commonwealth of Kentucky on Sunday morning as well as Tennessee, and it will be with us for much of the weekend, the entire weekend. But I do see some relief coming in next week, and look at this. By Monday, and certainly as we move into the middle part of next week, you're going to see a big drop in the humidity. So there are some good things there down the road. As far as the 90-degree days, if you're playing the home game version, we would have probably 25, closing in now on 25, 30 or so. Yeah, 30, because you get 4 in September. We average 34 days in the year, and we've had only 14 so far this year. Today will be 15. No doubt we will hit 90 or higher today. So that'll be 5 days for August, and tomorrow will be likely 6. So we're probably at 15, 16. We're like half. So I mean, we'll get some in September, no doubt, but there'll be more ebb and flow in September. It's just the way it typically goes. But these are the numbers that I've gathered from the National Weather Service in Morristown. All right, we have no wind to speak of at the moment at McGee Tyson Airport. This has also allowed some of that fog to form. It's humid, it's sticky. This fog's going to go right to haze. And, of course, the ragweed is on fire. It's raging ragweed. Did you make that up? This kind of thing. I just threw it. It's descriptive. Boy, when you have some symptoms, the headache behind the eye, the scratchy throat, all that goes into play for today's outlook. So pace yourself. If it's not the ragweed, if it's not the heat advisory, it could be other things like smoke, Sahara dust. We're going to look at all that here in mere moments. This is the cloud and rain pattern over the last 6 hours. And as we looked at the top of this Facebook, YouTube Live, we've had some storms in Charleston, West Virginia, the mountain state up there, but most, if not all, that should stay up there, maybe brushing parts of the Tri-Cities later this evening, if not this afternoon. We had some brushes with some severe weather yesterday. As anticipated, we saw some storms coming from the north. When it's this hot and humid, it doesn't take much. Just a little tap, and it suddenly goes to severe. When it's this humid, you've got a lot of energy associated with this type of atmosphere. By the way, the sunrise, sunset time. I took the sunglasses off. I can't see. It's pretty heavy. This fog is terrible. 7:02 should be coming up right after I finish this Facebook, YouTube Live. 8:13 is when it goes down, and so we're going to talk about a bus stop where you want to be extra careful going through school zones when it's this foggy. Please be extra careful for the little ones because they are hard to miss. or hard to see in fog. 81 at 10, 93 at 2. Are you kidding me? I'm not kidding you. It's going to be hot. Looking for a 96-degree high in Morristown, 97 Oak Ridge, Knoxville, and 98 in Athens. Now, these numbers mean nothing if you're going to evaluate the forecast on how you feel. Well, I feel like it's 105 and you have under forecast. See what I mean? It's all about perception. No different than wind chill and the actual temperature in wintertime. It's perception driven, right? We have like wind engineers to tell us in the winter, what's it feel like? Oh, it feels like negative 30. Well, we're not that type of season. This is the opposite, right? It's going to feel like 105. And in the shade, if we're lucky, we could have very well 96, 97 across much of the area. Only 92, he says, for Crossville. By the way, if you're subscribing to my YouTube channel, thank you for being there. It's free. YouTube.com/at. I had to put that in yellow. It's very odd, but it was /at. That's their nomenclature, Captain Accurate. So I'm very happy to have you on YouTube. And it's just a reminder for me to check the YouTube page. Let's go over here and say hi. I see Michael Hawk says, does a foggy August mean a snow winter? It usually, I believe if it's weather lore, you've heard of folklore. Well, weather lore is that you count up the numbers of fogs in August, usually translate to the number of snows you're going to get this winter. And there are some of you who've been counting the fogs up to half a dozen, dozen, and everybody's different. But I'm going to give you the McGee Tyson numbers a little bit later. That'll also be part of the fun because a lot of people like to see it. It's kind of like when you look at woolly worms, you look at persimmon seeds. A lot of folks look and consult a lot of different things. And that's one of the beautiful things about East Tennessee. We all have our own little method sometimes when it comes to seasonal forecasting. Now, I want to get you to the Hurricane Center. This is the biggest concern for me next week is how this little storm in red, and I don't mean Franklin, I mean that red X, could impact Florida. My expectation, and we'll put this in motion here if I move it, oh, there it is 70% chance of forming over the next 7 days. This is a storm that would pass by the Cancun, Yucatan area, work its way possibly between Tampa and Apalachicola. That's the favored destination first before it moves over the peninsula and could slide along the beaches of like Myrtle Beach, Wrightsville Beach, right along the Carolina coast. There are two storm potentials there, 30 and 50% in the middle of the Atlantic, so it's really hard to say which name this will be assigned. But we already have Franklin. He rolled over Haiti and Dominican Republic a couple of days ago. He's going to continue to track to the north. But I can tell you this, not all the models see the ultimate track on this. But this is what I wanted to show you, because if this is a little different model, but it'll take you to, let's see, Tuesday. You see the little blob there. Let's see, take my little telestrator. They put the model right in here. That would be closer to Fort Myers. I think the sweet spot's going to be up here, okay? And then it's going to work its way up, potentially miss us, East Tennessee, completely. That's the trend, at least right now. And then once it rolls over the peninsula, then notice how it shows up again. Where does it show up again? It shows up over here. Oops, moved my map, didn't mean to do that. But I do want to show you, it shows up right up across, off the coast of the Carolinas, right in here. So this could be a real beach spoiler. And if you say, well, what time is that? That's Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. And once that system gets out of here, by Thursday, we don't have a cloud in the sky. It'll be nice and clear. That's the potential. We'll be watching this very, very closely because we've got more tropical weather this time of year. Franklin is also going to be something to watch if you're counting all the storms. You could have a potential hurricane here of a Category 2. And that's about the same time, Tuesday, that it's off the coast of the Carolinas. By that point, we have had a storm potentially near the Gulf of Mexico and maybe near Tampa and up toward Apalachicola. We'll see how this plays out, but that's what we'll be watching next week. As that storm Franklin moves north, we'll have another disturbance moving up from the north. So the next three names on the list are Idalia, Jose, and Katia. It's anyone's guess which one will form first. Again, this could be Idalia, maybe not your favorite name to pronounce, but then Jose could be, it depends on who forms first. It's all based on the decision-making of the National Hurricane Center. We do see usually an uptick this time of year. August 20th to September 10th is when we usually see more hurricane development. And future Sahara dust. When it gets really windy off of Africa and into the Atlantic Ocean, you'll see a big dark brown areas. This is where the winds are picking up, so it kicks up more dust, kind of like when you're at the beach on a windy day. Looks like it's actually disappearing across much of the United States, so the dust will probably not be a factor, but there's still a little hint or haze of some smoke, wildfire smoke potentially in some spots across the state. So you got some smoke, you've got some fog, you got some heat advisories, you got everything to consider even though most of us, 99% of us, will be dry for the next 20, well, at least the next 18 hours. We go into Saturday, we're going to bring in some shower opportunities. So let me get to the forecast. Headlines today, hottest day of the year. 94, July 28th is the benchmark to beat or tie. But if you hit 94 today, you will have tied the hottest day of the year so far. So I think we're going to eclipse that today. And it's going to be what I would just say blazing hot. Blazing hot. Oops, I got to turn that off. Blazing hot on your Friday. And rain chances will return, especially this weekend. All right, let's get you to the Storm Prediction Center maps because I also want to get time for more questions. Severe risk for today is to the north. You'll notice that we have the potential in the next, we'll say between now and 8 o'clock tomorrow morning when these outlooks are defined. These outlooks are defined for all of today through 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. They have an isolated severe storm risk for St. Louis, Louisville, Cincinnati, and Kansas City and Omaha. And if you go back toward West Virginia, they're already getting some strong storms now. This would also include Charleston, Beckley, Roanoke, Richmond, and Washington, D.C. Really not a concern for severe weather here, but again, it wouldn't take much if we get a storm, if not later tonight. I left a stray storm north and east tonight, so we'd be towards Kingsport, maybe north and east of Morristown, if something were to actually work its way south that time frame. Now, meanwhile, Saturday, now it looks like we're all under the dark green area, so any storm that forms tomorrow, particularly in the afternoon, could reach severe limits. It may be isolated, it may not be quarter-size hail and 58-mile-an-hour winds or stronger, but it could be strong. So you have the potential for strong severe storms on Saturday. That covers all of East Tennessee. And finally, on the severe risk maps, Sunday it moves east toward the Carolinas. We have potential for storms, but our temperatures will be in the upper 80s. They're going to have more problems potentially from Raleigh to Columbia back toward Augusta, Georgia. So that's where things are. Here, it's just, again, general thunderstorms, the expectation. Right now it's 74 degrees. We have no wind, and the dew point is absolutely stuffy. 73 degrees, it is sticky, and with 97% relative humidity, many of us are dealing with some patches of dense fog. Precipitation chances I left as 0 today, 40% tomorrow, 30% Sunday, and then 60% on Monday. That's my expectation, but you don't see this map very often. 97, look at my bar chart. My bar graph takes it up 10 degrees above normal today. But it feels like 105. So glad that you put that, Aldridge, in the text at the bottom so that we can be clear. It's going to feel like it's about, it's going to feel like it's about 105. So that's where things are. I want to say good morning to you. If I missed a note, I'll try my best to get in here now. Felicia says, make sure you stay hydrated. She says on YouTube, add a bowl of water outside in the shade for the critters today. Absolutely. And Michael Hawk talking about the winters and foggy mornings. Can they translate? Many people believe they do. Ed says, good hot morning. It's Friday. Have a great weekend. And Felicia says, remember to check on the neighbors watching from Newcomb. So Brenda Perkins, glad to have Brenda watching as well. It is now 6:58. My goal is to be done here in just a few moments. So as we look at the futurecast, not a whole lot to see. Big area of high pressure, but boy, is it hot today. Look at the storms around Charleston. Can they make it to Knoxville? Probably not. Look how they fall apart on this model. So not expecting much in the way of rain, so that means we have every opportunity to get very hot pretty quick. Maybe a little passing shower before midday tomorrow, but maybe a better chance in the afternoon. There's Saturday at 5 p.m. I'll have a 40% chance of storms tomorrow. We move into Sunday. There's Sunday morning, 7 o'clock. Might be headed out to church services early on Sunday morning, and you might need the umbrella based on this. Again, it depends on how this front behaves, but my expectation is that we're looking at about 30% chance of rain on Sunday, 60% chance on Monday. All right, here's the futurecast. I find this interesting. How quickly do you think we can get up to midday? Midday is 88. We're on track. If it's in the 87, 88 range for Oak Ridge, Knoxville by midday, we're on track to reach about 97 today. And we'll do that between 3 and 5 p.m. And that's when it feels like it's the hottest part of the day. Temperatures about 81 at 11 o'clock tonight. That's pretty brutal. Maybe a stray storm north and east of Morristown. I don't expect much. You can see a couple of short showers trying to form there at midday tomorrow, but most of it comes maybe in the afternoon. And look where it is. By the afternoon, this model puts it mainly south of Interstate 40. So it's going to be difficult to time. These are pulsating thunderstorms that come down from the north and west. It's just part of the pattern that we're still being influenced by. 97 today. It's now 6:59. Hazy, hot, and humid. We could call it blazing hot because it's going to feel like 105. Southwest winds 5 to 10. 94 Wartburg, 96 Maryville, 96 in Newport, and 93 for La Follette. With more fog, they could easily hit 100 again, because they did it yesterday, Nashville, and they could hit 100 in Memphis again today. They hit that mark yesterday. Tupelo, 100. Those temperatures are going to be like a persistent forecast because they're going to continue to see that again. Very sticky tonight. Stray storms, I think, toward the Tri-Cities, northeast. But 73, the overnight low. Some of us may not get below 74 or 75. It's just going to be one of those nights. It's not going to be an easy night to sleep if your air conditioning's not in good working order. 72 in Kingston. 70 in Wartburg, 68 Crossville, Cumberland County for your low temperature tonight, and 71 Talbot, Morristown, and Dandridge. Looking ahead to the Captain Accurate Weather Authority forecast. 7 o'clock, finishing on time on a Friday. Hope you have a great Friday. 94 tomorrow. There are some indications if the rain holds up, we could be just as hot tomorrow as we are today. But right now, I think we're probably right in that 94-degree mark area for tomorrow. As you can see, the humidity stays high until, he says, next week. If you look at Wednesday night, Thursday morning, you'll notice some upper 50s. That is a translation of really low humid weather. It's going to feel super comfortable, and you might say, well, what's going to account for that? Partly, if we get a storm like a Dahlia, Jose, or Katia rolling across Florida and the Carolinas, it's going to take all the clouds away, all the humidity, and it's going to feel refreshing. Nobody would wish anything tropical to hit a southern state, but if that were to occur, our outcome would be lower humidity and not a cloud in the sky, which is why I put nothing but sun on Thursday. So if you're looking for a nice change of pace, September will be here before you know it, as we're rounding out the last couple of days, obviously, of August. In fact, I believe these are the last 7 days of the month. 82 degrees. Thursday would be the 31st of August. So very thankful for you. Just want to come back on camera and wish you a very happy Friday. Alice says, good morning. Have a great weekend. She's got her cup of coffee. Ed says, good hot morning. It's Friday. Have a great weekend. So glad to see Ed and Felicia and Brenda. Going back to YouTube, it looks like we have Michael and Felicia and Marilyn all on YouTube. And it looks like we've got 4 people still watching. So very thankful to have you all here. Anyway, these are the numbers. 105 is what it's going to feel like. The record high today is 99 from 1943. I do not expect to beat that number, but I put it on there for context. This is the closest we're going to be to any record highs this week because we've had a string of 92s. 92 the last 3 days, and I guess it was 91 on Monday. So this will be day 5. I mean, this is not been that crazy of a summer as we've illustrated. We've had only 2 weeks of 90. But we've had a lot of humid days, so that doesn't always account into how you feel the summer's been. My name is David Aldrich. By the way, if you haven't checked out, have I checked it out? Let me see over here. Yes, if you haven't checked out my premium service, go to CaptainAccurate.com. If you'd like more weather information throughout the weekend, my premium members are privy to not only the next 7 days, but also things well into advance, weeks in advance, so that they can help plan their days accordingly. Love to have you on there. It's only $4.99 a month. That's 16 cents a day. You can cancel anytime, and it's very easy to sign up. Just simply go to CaptainAccurate.com for the link and all the information. Well, my name is David Aldrich. Some people call me Captain Accurate. It's not easy being accurate, so weather doesn't surprise you. We'll see you here next time. Take care.